The quantum array at Luna Base hummed with an unfamiliar frequency, its massive dishes pointed toward the depths of space. Dr. Naomi Winters stared at her holographic display, her dark eyes reflecting the cascade of numbers that shouldn't exist. The signal defied everything she knew about quantum physics, yet there it was, pulsing with a rhythm that seemed almost alive. Dr. Winters, you need to see this. Marcus Rhodes, her senior technician, called from across the observatory's main chamber. His usually steady hands trembled as he manipulated the three-dimensional projection of the signal's origin. It's not just random noise. There's a pattern. The year was 2157, and humanity had spread throughout their solar system, establishing colonies on Mars and mining operations in the asteroid belt. But they had never encountered definitive proof of intelligent alien life, until now. Naomi brushed her silver-streaked hair back, a habit she developed during her 20 years of searching the cosmos for signs of intelligence. Show me the pattern analysis, Marcus. The holographic display shifted, revealing a complex mathematical sequence that made her breath catch. It wasn't just a pattern, it was a language, one that spoke in quantum entanglement and probability waves. Get me Director Ramirez, she ordered, her voice steady despite the excitement threatening to overwhelm her. And contact the Quantum Defense Network. They need to see this. Within hours, Luna Base's quiet observation deck had transformed into a hub of frantic activity. Director Jorge Ramirez, a veteran of both space exploration and international politics, stood beside Naomi as they briefed Earth's highest-ranking officials via quantum link. The signal appears to be an invitation, Naomi explained, gesturing to the translated sequences floating before them. But it's more than that. It's like a key, unlocking something within human DNA itself. The room fell silent as she continued. We've discovered that the signal resonates with a previously unknown sequence in human genetic code. A sequence that exists in every human being, but is laid dormant for thousands of years. Before anyone could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. Marcus rushed to his station, his dark skin pale in the emergency lights. Doctor, we've got incoming. Multiple objects dropping out of. Well, I don't know what they're dropping out of, but they're here. The main viewport illuminated with the arrival of 3 massive ships, their surfaces rippling like liquid metal under the stark lunar light. They were beautiful and terrifying, their design so advanced it made humanity's best vessels look like ancient sailing ships in comparison. This is Commander Lyra of the Sentinel Collective. A voice resonated directly in their minds, causing several people to stumble. We have come in response to the awakening. Humanity has finally begun to hear the call. Director Ramirez stepped forward, his military training evident in his squared shoulders. This is Director Jorge Ramirez of Earth's Lunar Observatory. We mean no hostile intent. Hostile intent. The alien voice carried a note of what might have been amusement. Dear humans, we are not here to fight you. We are here to help you claim your birthright. Naomi felt a strange tingling in her mind, like static electricity, but deeper, more fundamental. Around her, others were experiencing the same sensation. Marcus gasped as his coffee cup began floating without any apparent technological assistance. You see, Commander Lyra continued, humans are not what you believe yourselves to be. You are the descendants of beings your myths called gods. Beings who chose to hide their power and merge with primitive Earth species eons ago, to escape a war that threatened to tear reality itself apart. The tingling sensation grew stronger, and Naomi watched in amazement as the quantum displays began responding to her thoughts rather than her inputs. Across Earth, similar reports were flooding in, people discovering abilities that defied explanation. The signal you detected, Lyra explained, was not just a message. It was a key, designed to unlock what your ancestors deliberately buried within your species. But you must understand quickly, for you are not the only ones who heard it. And not all who are coming have your best interests at heart. As if to emphasize the point, new alarms began blaring. Marcus's hands flew over his console. Multiple quantum distortions detected at the edge of the solar system. Whatever's coming, it's big. Director Ramirez turned to Naomi, his expression grave. Dr. Winters, it seems your search for extraterrestrial intelligence has opened quite a door. The question is, are we ready for what's on the other side? Naomi looked at her trembling hands, feeling the power that had always been there, waiting to be unleashed. Ready or not, she said, watching as patterns of energy danced between her fingers. I don't think we have a choice. Humanity's true history is about to come crashing back into the present. And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, ancient beings stirred, awakening to the realization that their greatest weapons, and their greatest fear, had finally begun to remember what they truly were. The orbital defense platforms above Earth glowed with newfound energy as their operators discovered abilities they never knew they possessed. In the 2 weeks since the Sentinel arrival, humanity had begun a transformation that defied scientific explanation. Dr. Naomi Winters stood in the newly established Awakening Center in Geneva, watching as another group of humans manifested their dormant abilities. Lieutenant Jun Zhao, a former quantum systems specialist, demonstrated his newfound power by creating a perfect holographic simulation of Earth's solar system with nothing but his mind. Next to him, Dr. Kenzo Tanaka, a theoretical physicist, manipulated gravity itself, causing objects to float and dance through the air with graceful precision. The genetic activation is spreading faster than we anticipated, Marcus reported, reviewing data on his neural interface, a gift from the Sentinels that had revolutionized human technology overnight. We're seeing a 40% awakening rate in major population centers. Director Ramirez entered the chamber, accompanied by Commander Lyra. The Sentinel leader's crystalline form shifted colors as she moved, a visual representation of her emotional state. Today, she radiated deep purples and blues concern. We've detected 3 more faction fleets entering your solar system, Lyra announced, her telepathic voice resonating through their minds. The Nexus Dominion, the Void Collective, and the Crystalline Concordat. Each believes they have claim to Earth and its awakening population. Naomi felt her newfound power surge with her anger, creating ripples in the quantum fabric of space around her. Earth belongs to humanity. We're not surprised to be claimed. No, Lyra agreed, you are something far more dangerous. You are the descendants of the war gods, beings so powerful they chose to hide their own nature from themselves to prevent universal destruction. The room's atmosphere grew heavy with tension as holographic displays showed the approaching alien fleets. The Nexus Dominion's biomechanical ships pulsed with organic technology, while the Void Collective's vessels seemed to bend reality around them. The Crystalline Concordat's fleet sparkled like diamonds in the starlight, beautiful but lethal. Director, Marcus called out, his dark eyes wide with alarm. We're detecting quantum fluctuations from the moon. It's responding to our awakening. On every screen, Luna's surface began to shift and change. Ancient structures, hidden for millennia beneath the regolith, emerged into the vacuum of space. A massive complex of crystalline towers and energy conduits rose from the lunar mare, its architecture clearly designed by the same civilization that had engineered humanity's dormant abilities. The lunar nexus, Lyra breathed, her form flickering with gold and silver hues. We thought it was destroyed during the Great Severance. This changes everything. Dr. Kenzo stepped forward, his usually calm demeanor charged with excitement. The moon. It's not just a satellite, is it? It's a weapon. Not a weapon, Lyra corrected. A fortress. A training ground. The place where the war gods once taught their children to harness the fundamental forces of reality itself. Naomi felt a pull from the lunar structures, as if they were calling to her specifically. Around the room, other awakened humans showed similar reactions. Their powers were responding to the ancient training grounds activation. The other factions will not allow this to remain in human hands, Lyra warned. The lunar nexus contains knowledge and power that could shift the balance of the entire galaxy. You must learn to use it quickly, or it will be taken from you. Director Ramirez's jaw set with determination. Then we better start learning. Dr. Winters, assemble your best awakened. Lieutenant Zhao, Dr. Tanaka, we're going to the moon. There's more, Marcus interrupted, his fingers dancing through holographic data streams. We're detecting similar structures activating across Earth, in the Himalayas, beneath the Pacific, deep in the Amazon. The whole planet. It's all been waiting for us to remember. Naomi watched as more displays showed ancient complexes emerging worldwide, each one resonating with the same energy that now flowed through humanity's veins. We're not just facing an awakening, she realized. We're experiencing a resurrection. The question is, are we resurrecting ourselves, or something else? Commander Lyra's form shifted to deep red, a warning. Both. And you must master your inheritance quickly. The Void Collective will reach Earth in 72 hours, and they do not share our belief that humanity should control its own destiny. The room erupted into action as orders were given and preparations began. Humanity had 3 days to learn the powers of gods, master technology beyond their comprehension, and prepare to defend their solar system from forces that had dominated the galaxy for millennia. As Naomi prepared to board the shuttle to the lunar nexus, she caught her reflection in a quantum display. For a moment, her image seemed to shift, showing something older, more powerful, a glimpse of what humanity had once been, and what they might become again. Ready or not, she whispered, echoing her words from 2 weeks ago. The war gods are awakening. And this time, we won't hide from what we are. The shuttle launched toward the moon, carrying humanity's first students back to their ancient training ground, while behind them, Earth's surface continued to transform, revealing more and more of their forgotten legacy. The race to remember had begun. The crystalline halls of the lunar nexus thrummed with ancient power as Dr. Naomi Winters led her team through another training session. Streams of quantum energy flowed between the awakened humans, their abilities growing stronger by the hour. Lieutenant Zhao had mastered quantum manipulation to the point where he could create micro-wormholes, while Dr. Tanaka's gravity control now extended to the molecular level. But time was running out. The Void Collective's fleet would reach Earth in less than 24 hours. We've decoded another section of the archives, Marcus called out. His consciousness merged with the Nexus's vast database through his neural interface. You need to see this immediately. The chamber's walls shifted, becoming transparent and revealing the Earth hanging in space below them. Holographic images materialized, showing scenes from humanity's forgotten past, massive cities that defied physics, beings of pure energy walking among the stars, and battles that reshaped entire solar systems. We weren't just powerful, Naomi breathed, watching the images. We were the architects of reality itself. Commander Lyra's crystalline form pulsed with urgent colors. The Void Collective knows this. That's why they're coming. They believe if they can capture enough awakened humans, they can reverse engineer your genetic potential and claim it for themselves. A new alert echoed through the Nexus. Director Ramirez's hologram appeared, his expression grim. The crystalline Concordat's fleet has changed course. They're heading for the Kuiper Belt facility. What facility? Naomi asked, but even as the words left her mouth, new memories surfaced, knowledge encoded in her very DNA, unlocked by her proximity to the Nexus. The Forge of Creation. Marcus's eyes widened as he processed more data from the archives. It's where our ancestors created their most powerful technologies. The facility isn't just a factory. It's a solar system-sized computer that can manipulate the fundamental constants of physics itself. Through the neural network linking the awakened humans, Naomi felt a sudden surge of alarm from Lieutenant Zhao. Multiple quantum signatures detected. The Nexus Dominion is making their move. Space itself seemed to tear open as the biomechanical fleet of the Nexus Dominion emerged from fold space directly above the moon. Their ships, massive constructs of living metal and synthetic tissue, dwarfed anything humanity had built. Greetings, children of the war gods, a new voice resonated through their minds, ancient and calculating. I am Sovereign Nexus Prime. We've come to offer you a choice. The being that appeared in their midst was a towering figure of cybernetic enhancement and bioengineered perfection. Join the Dominion willingly. Share your genetic legacy with us, and we will guide your species to its full potential. Refuse, and we will take what we need by force. Commander Lyra's form bristled with defensive energy. The Sentinels won't allow this, Nexus Prime. We stand with humanity. The Sentinels, Nexus Prime's voice dripped with disdain, always playing the long game. Did you tell them why you really protected their development all these years? About the prophecy? Naomi turned to Lyra, whose crystalline form had shifted to a deep, guilty purple. What prophecy? Before Lyra could respond, the lunar nexus's sensors screamed with new alerts. The Void Collective's fleet had arrived ahead of schedule, their reality-warping ships casting impossible shadows across space. Behind them, the crystal ships of the Concordat emerged from the Kuiper Belt, having already secured the Forge of Creation. The board is set, Nexus Prime announced with cold satisfaction. The game that will determine the fate of reality itself can finally begin. But in that moment, something unprecedented occurred. The awakened humans, linked through their neural network and the lunar nexus, experienced a collective revelation. Memories not just from their own forgotten past, but from possible futures, flooded their consciousness. We see it now, Naomi spoke, her voice resonating with newfound power. We see the truth you've all been hiding. This isn't about claiming our power or unlocking our potential. This is about what comes after. Through the neural link, every awakened human on Earth and the Moon understood. Their ancestors hadn't hidden their true nature to escape a war. They had done it to prevent one. A war that would begin the moment humanity fully awakened. The prophecy, Lyra admitted finally, speaks of the war god's return marking the end of one universal cycle and the beginning of another. Your awakening isn't just about power. It's about transformation. Evolution. The next step in cosmic consciousness itself. Naomi felt the truth of it in her bones, in the very quantum strings that made up her being. Humanity wasn't meant to choose sides in this cosmic game. They were meant to change the rules entirely. She turned to face the assembled representatives of galactic power, her eyes now glowing with the same energy that had once reshaped reality itself. You all came here thinking you would decide our fate. But our ancestors didn't hide to escape destiny. They hid to ensure we would face it on our own terms. Around the Earth, more ancient structures activated, responding to humanity's growing understanding of their true purpose. The game hadn't just begun. It had been in play for millions of years, and humanity was never meant to be a piece on the board. They were meant to be the players. The void between Earth and Mars erupted with quantum fire as humanity made its first stand. Dr. Naomi Winters stood at the heart of the Lunar Nexus's command center, coordinating humanity's awakened forces through the neural network. Each human had become a conduit of impossible power, their genetic legacy finally unleashed in full. Lieutenant Zhao led the first counterattack, his consciousness spread across hundreds of quantum apertures in space. Through these temporary tiers in reality, Earth's hastily assembled defense fleet emerged, each ship powered by the awakened humans within. Dr. Tanaka's gravity manipulation had been weaponized, creating corridors of warped space that trapped enemy vessels in temporal deadlocks. The Void Collective is pushing through Sector 7, Marcus reported, his mind interfaced directly with the solar system's ancient defense grid. They're using some kind of reality-inverting technology. Our conventional weapons are useless. But humanity was no longer relying on conventional weapons. From the Forge of Creation in the Kuiper Belt, now reclaimed by a team of awakened engineers, came humanity's answer to the alien armada. Ships that weren't just built but grown there. Quantum crystal hulls embedded with the same consciousness-enhancing technology as the Lunar Nexus. Director Ramirez's hologram appeared, his expression both proud and concerned. The evacuation of Earth's major cities to the underground sanctuaries is complete. All awakened humans are now linked to the defense network. It's time to show them what we've learned. Commander Lyra, who had chosen to stand with humanity despite pressure from her own people, watched in awe as the human fleet executed maneuvers that should have taken centuries to master. You're not just remembering your ancestors' powers, she realized. You're improving upon them. Through the neural network, Naomi felt the truth of those words. Each awakened human was adding their own understanding, their own innovations to the ancient knowledge. Where their ancestors had wielded raw power, humanity was applying scientific precision and creative insight. The battle above Mars reached a crescendo as the Void Collective launched their primary weapon, a massive void gate designed to swallow entire fleets. But they hadn't counted on humanity's ability to adapt. Now, Naomi commanded through the neural link. Every awakened human in the system focused their power through the Lunar Nexus, using it as a lens to amplify their collective consciousness. The Void Gate shuddered, its reality-warping energies turned back upon itself by humanity's combined will. Sovereign Nexus Prime's biomechanical fleet moved to exploit what they thought was a weakness, only to find themselves outmaneuvered. Dr. Tanaka's gravity corridors herded them into a trapped position, while Lieutenant Zhao's quantum apertures allowed Earth's ships to attack from impossible angles. Impossible, Nexus Prime's voice resonated through their minds. You've had these powers for mere days. How can you wield them with such mastery? Because, Naomi responded, her consciousness expanded through the neural network. We're not just copying what our ancestors could do. We're understanding why they could do it. Knowledge without understanding is just mimicry. We're making this power our own. The crystalline Concordats fleet, watching from the edges of the battle, made their decision. Their crystalline ships aligned themselves with Earth's forces, recognizing that humanity had become something unprecedented, not just the heirs to the war god's power, but its evolution. Through the neural network, Marcus detected a new signal emerging from the sun itself. Ancient sensors, dormant for millions of years, had awakened in response to the battle. The star was revealing its final secret, a vast network of quantum corridors connecting every star in the galaxy, created by the war gods as their ultimate legacy. The stellar path, Lyra whispered in awe. The network we thought was lost forever. Your ancestors didn't just hide their power in your DNA, they encoded the keys to their greatest creation in your very evolution. But before humanity could process this revelation, a new threat emerged. The Void Collective, realizing they couldn't defeat humanity through conventional warfare, had activated their doomsday weapon. A cascade of void rifts began to spread across the solar system, threatening to tear reality itself apart. Naomi felt the fear ripple through the neural network, but it was immediately replaced by determination. Humanity had not come this far to watch their home be destroyed. Through the lunar nexus, through the ancient structures on Earth, through the forge of creation, and through every awakened human in the system, power began to build. They think they can unmake reality, Naomi said, her voice carrying through the neural network to every human in the solar system. Let's show them who the true architects of reality are. The final battle for not just Earth, but the very fabric of space-time itself, was about to begin. And humanity was ready to prove that they weren't just the children of gods, they were the next step in cosmic evolution itself. Reality trembled as the Void Collective's doomsday cascade spread across the solar system. Space itself began to unravel, stars distorting as the fundamental forces holding the universe together weakened. But in this moment of ultimate crisis, humanity revealed its true potential. Dr. Naomi Winters stood at the heart of the lunar nexus. Her consciousness expanded beyond normal comprehension. Through the neural network, she felt every awakened human in the system. Billions of minds united in purpose, each adding their unique perspective to the collective. The cascade is reaching critical mass, Marcus warned. His awareness spread across the ancient sensor networks. Traditional physics is breaking down. We need to act now. Lieutenant Zhao and Dr. Tanaka, working in perfect synchronization through the neural link, had already begun humanity's response. Their combined powers created a framework of quantum stabilization fields, buying precious minutes as humanity prepared its final move. The Stellar Path Network is responding to the cascade, Commander Lyra reported, her crystalline form pulsing with urgent patterns. The quantum corridors between stars are becoming unstable. If they collapse, they won't, Naomi interrupted, her voice carrying the weight of certainty. Through the neural network, she shared what humanity had collectively realized, the true purpose of their awakening. The war gods hadn't hidden their power out of fear or strategy. They had encoded it into human DNA because they understood something fundamental about the universe itself. Power without growth was stagnation. The various alien factions had spent millennia trying to claim or replicate the war gods' abilities, but they had missed the essential truth. The power was never meant to be claimed. It was meant to evolve. Everyone, Naomi commanded through the neural network, connect to the stellar path. Not just through the lunar nexus, through everything. Through every ancient structure, every quantum corridor, every particle of your being that carries our ancestors' legacy. Humanity responded as one. From the forge of creation to the depths of Earth's oceanic temples, from orbital platforms to underground sanctuaries, humans channeled their power into the galactic network their ancestors had created. But they didn't simply activate it. They transformed it. Where the war gods had built paths between stars, humanity envisioned connections between realities. Where their ancestors had mastered the forces of physics, humanity learned to transcend them. Each human mind added its own innovation, its own understanding, its own dream of what could be. The Void Collective's cascade met something it had never encountered, evolution itself. Reality didn't just resist unraveling, it began to transform. Impossible, Sovereign Nexus Prime whispered, watching as space itself shifted and changed around them. This isn't just power. This is creation. Naomi completed the thought. Not destruction disguised as creation, like your void weapons. Not stasis masked as progress, like your biomechanical evolution. Real creation. Real change. Through the neural network, through the transformed stellar path, through the very fabric of space-time, humanity demonstrated what they had become. Not gods of war, but gods of transformation. Each human mind contributed its unique perspective, its individual creativity, its personal understanding of reality's potential. The cascade didn't just stop, it was incorporated into a new framework of reality, one that humanity was writing into existence with every thought, every innovation, every dream of what could be. The alien fleets hung motionless in space, witnessing something unprecedented in the history of the cosmos. Humanity hadn't just claimed their ancestors' legacy, they had transcended it. The war gods had mastered reality. Their children had learned to reimagine it. "Now you understand," Commander Lyra said, her crystalline form reflecting the transformed space around them. The prophecy wasn't about the return of the war gods. It was about what would replace them. In the aftermath of the battle, as the solar system settled into its new configuration, humanity began to truly comprehend their role in the cosmic order. They were not meant to be warriors or rulers or even guardians. They were meant to be innovators, dreamers, creators of new possibilities. The ancient structures, the lunar nexus, the forge of creation, these weren't weapons or tools of power. They were seeds, planted by ancestors who understood that true evolution required more than just strength. It required imagination. Dr. Naomi Winters stood in the transformed command center, watching as reality itself shimmered with new potential. Through the neural network, she felt humanity's collective understanding crystallize into certainty. They had not risen to become war gods. They had risen to become something far more powerful, architects of what could be, dreamers of what might be, creators of what would be. The age of war was over. The age of transformation had begun. And somewhere in the vast, transformed cosmos, in dimensions both known and yet to be imagined, reality itself held its breath, waiting to see what humanity would dream up next.